A seashell? Yeah, a seashell. Or some kind of shell. That's kind of what it looks like on this door. The pattern's like a square, but then it equally multiplies, and then that kind of makes a bigger square and a bigger square until it leads into this delicate curve. I think I've heard of what this is called before. The words finally come to you as you stare at the decoration. Yeah, Fibonacci sequence. Now that we've named it, we can finally pass through. So you turn and you grab the knob that's placed just kind of in the top left of the biggest square of the sequence. And you grab it and you turn it, and the door swings open on yet another curve.
In the aftermath of the chaos and the explosions, G.U.M.D.R.O.P, what are you doing as these children begin, pouring out of the cracks you have broken in the walls?
I am using all of my key points. Hopefully they're batched together, these kids. And I'm casting Pass Without Trace on groups of them over and over. I can only do it 4 times.
All right, you're able to do that for a good chunk of children, but there are going to be significantly more than you'll be able to cover.
Yeah. The last, whoever's left that hasn't gotten that, I'm going to stay with.
You did remember I said there were hundreds of children in there. I'm happy to let you stay with the group, and but...
How big a group is this last group? Maybe I won't stay with all of them.
Yeah, it's gonna be barest minimum 100 kids.
Okay, well that ain't gonna be plausible. Okay, I'm doing as much as I can. I'll put it that way.
So you are going to be able to set it up with your Pass Without a Trace in chunks and chunks, is the children are able to fan out and flood the city, and they are overrunning it before the automated soldiers and guards are able to know that they are there. So by the time they would start getting redirected or recaptured, there are hundreds of them swarming over the automatons, while one of them is unable to defeat them. In a swarm, they take them down, not easily, but it's like hundreds of ants overtaking a single spider. A little less gross and bitey, but you can see a couple of teeth marks in some of the metal as the automatons are getting disassembled. Violently.
If anyone looks like they need help, I'm going to help, but mostly I'm making my way back towards the manor.
The city begins to descend into true, complete chaos. Hundreds of children begin flooding the streets, and those that aren't flooding the streets from the factories begin coming outside to see what the noise is, what's happening. The city previously felt very empty, but it comes to life with light and fire and riot. Everything is everywhere. Everyone is everywhere. The automatons are having an absolute nightmare of a time, not even trying to keep order, just trying to understand what is happening before they are completely overtaken. It is in this chaos, G.U.M.D.R.O.P, that you are able to duck through, dodging and moving quickly enough to come across the manor and see Cedar sitting next to a pair of sobbing children. Also, Cedar, I want to emphasize so that you know, G.U.M.D.R.O.P is still in his Tupperware suit.
Oh, yeah. I took it off.
You hear just clunk, 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 clunk.
You know what? Honestly, I love that. So you see a cookie-shaped, vaguely starfishy shaped Tupperware come clunking up to you, and it skids to a halt in front of you on the soot and frost.
It's a Pyrex.
You hear as the door opens, and G.U.M.D.R.O.P steps out and goes,
I might have moved the timetables up a bit, but resistance is going well. Where's Jack?
As G.U.M.D.R.O.P has skidded up, Cedar has pulled her dagger and then sees that it's him and is like, oh my god. Yeah, she's gonna look up at him and say, Jack and Halley are inside, and then turn back to the 2 kids and say, Gerda, take Kai and go back to the inn and be safe.
Please don't let anything happen to you.
We're gonna try.
She's going to disentangle herself from Kai enough to run forward and hug Cedar. Thank you.
Yeah, she's gonna give her a huge hug.
Before anybody leaves, Gum-Drop is just going to be like,
I'll tell Will to, it's now.
She's going to give him a single determined nod, gather Kai up and pull him to his feet, and the two of them, hands clasped together, are going to run into the maelstrom of chaos. The two of you are standing quietly in the space, or as quietly as can exist. The automatons that previously guarded the space have long since left to go figure out what is going on with the chaos of the city. Everything is open to you, and that's almost concerning.
Be ready. And then Cedar's gonna turn and walk to the stairs.
Oh, ready for what? But yeah, I'm ready, but for what though?
Anything.
Okay, that's a lot to be ready for. But I can do it.
He's like, I'm ready for a dinner party. I'm ready for a boat ride.
top hat, nunchucks, let's go.
I'm ready for a night at the opera. I'm ready for a baseball game. I'm ready for a fist fight. I'm ready for an episode of Jerry Springer.
In response to get ready, for real, he just gets his nunchucks out.
Okay.
The two of you enter the manor and are surrounded by the eternal dance of the statues in the center hall. You see that the enormous... Gum-Drop is going to notice this mostly because he has been here. The enormous goat head relief, the eyes are now glowing and the mouth is open in a way that was not the case before. You can feel a profound chill coming from one of the nearby rooms, and you can see that not just is there a soft breeze of powdered snow coming out of it, but the doorway itself seems to be encased in ice. It is at that point that you see Jack and Halley turning to leave this room.
Oh, hey guys.
Hi.
How you going?
We're going to talk to Krampus.
Oh no, how you going?
How are we doing, or how are we going?
Yeah.
By foot, and not great.
I think Cedar is going to look back and forth between Jack and the room that they just came out of.
She's in there.
So did things go well?
Nope.
All right.
I guess we go to Krampus.
Okay. I've got the key if you need it.
The four of you approach the door, which looms larger over you than it looked like it was even a few steps ago. There is this sound that comes from it. There's this foreboding wave of energy that comes off of this door. But the relief itself seems to disconnect from one side of the door, allowing it to open by itself in a wide show of warm golden light behind the doors. You smell coal and oil, and also cologne, something pleasant and kind of musky. You can see that it's lit warmly, and towards the back of the room, almost forming its own wall, is an enormous series of mechanisms, constantly moving and shifting. Because I know Gum-Drop will probably wonder, it is child-free, all exclusive mechanism. In front of that is an enormous desk carved out of a rich, dark lacquered wood. On top of the desks are ledgers, papers, quills, and behind the desk sits Krampus, clad in not what you would expect, but a warm suit and a scarf. He seems put together, gentlemanly almost. He looks up from what he is working on and smiles. His goat-like face kind of unnatural with the movement. There's something sharp to him. Something just under the surface. As you look away from his face, you see 3 chairs and a large cushion that were not there before, carved out of the same dark lacquered wood and upholstered with red velvet cushions. Please, come, sit. I've been expecting you. To be perfectly honest, he pulls out a pocket watch and flips it open before clipping it closed again and tucking it into his breast pocket. You're actually late.
I'll look to everybody and just kind of nod. Take a seat.
I think Halley looks at all of them and I think stops at Cedar, and before they go in there, she'll just grab from her pack really quick, be like, okay, last time we went on a big adventure, this was your dad's, but I think you should have it. And it's the Christmas scarf with the holiday writing on it that gives her that little shield of faith bonus to her AC. But it's the same scarf that she put on Spruce before they went into the mountain.
Cedar's gonna hold it in her hands and just like look up at Halley with the biggest like doe eye look, and then sort of clear her throat a little and put it around her neck and sort of tuck it into her vest. Thank you. And then she's gonna walk forward and sit next to Jack.
Halley will follow Cedar in.
Gumdrop doesn't sit down. He will lean against a wall. But he doesn't bend any part of himself. He just... like a folding chair, Yeah.
A small child is going to come in holding a very large tray of tea and snacks. He will set it down on the desk and then run out as fast as he can make it happen. Krampus gestures towards the refreshments. Please, help yourself.
Nobody moves.
For the first time in the time that you guys have known Cedar, she does not make a move toward any sweets or cookies.
Now, what can I do for all of you?
We were told you were going to tell us what you're doing with all these kids.
Certainly no surprise. It's what I've been doing for millennia. You know that, Jack.
But you're dipping into everybody's magic now, right?
Only for a better application, truly to all of our shared interest.
Why don't you break that down to us?
Of course. I'm happy to answer any questions. You all came here for a goodwill mission, correct?
Yes.
How wonderful. Then we need not see each other as enemies. I'm happy to explain my reasoning and purpose, and even maybe explain some of the project as it's being unfurled. I'm truly embarrassed. I'm not sure where to begin. But I do assure you everything I am doing is towards the benefit of the children of the world.
Didn't look all that beneficial, really.
Sometimes. Admittedly, this might be a foreign concept to you, but for many, sometimes to heal a broken bone, it needs to be broken again to be set correctly. There is so much broken here in this world now. I'm sure you've seen it. 2 of you, I believe, have even fought some of it in earnest some time ago. Wonderful work there. Thank you for your service.
Halley's like staring at Jack with a confused, like, explain it to me kind of look.
He's talking about last time.
What did... She's gonna like turn her hindquarters towards Krampus as if this will help him not hear her question, and lean into Jack and be like, but what did we do for Krampus last time?
I don't know. I think he's being sarcastic.
No sarcasm at all. As you jolt, you notice he's standing right behind you, though none of you saw him move there. Truly, no sarcasm meant. I am coming at you with utmost sincerity. you did all of us a great service, both by ensuring that how did you all describe it? The terrible future never came to pass, and by addressing some of the things that stifled Christmas spirit, truly the greatest power source of our world. But he's going to, gently pat Jack's shoulder twice before walking back over to his desk. I believe that the utilization of Christmas spirit is not being done to its best applications, shall we say.
So what do you have in mind?
Are you familiar with the concept of carrot and stick?
Yeah.
The way that things have worked for centuries upon centuries has been Nick was the carrot and I was the stick. Both of us with a shared desire for humanity to be at its best. Differed in our methods, of course, but one cannot have shadow without light and light without shadow. I was content with my role, and Nicholas was more than content with his. However, as time has gone on, there is more and more emphasis put on reward. And I believe that there has been a loss of one of the greatest gifts that we could give the people. Fear. Children, people, adults, ungiven toys, snowflakes, reindeer, elves. Especially since what you all did, there is a lack of fear of consequence. I do not require people fear me. I require that people behave. And with only a reward and no fear, what's truly the benefit of behavior? You'll get a reward eventually, will you not? No. I am oath-bound to make my presence more known. People are getting crueler. People are becoming weaker. Things have been going downhill for centuries, as well you know, Jack. And I believe that the only true cure for this is to make people fear what's under their beds again. Fear what the darkness that they have could cause. And if you won't naturally find yourself inclined to kindness and love and warmth, I will make you regret not fostering them in yourself. So, maybe I have done a little, shall we say, reallocation of Christmas spirit's magic. But again, all to the greater benefit of humanity.
But you broke your rules. You broke your own rules. You took the kids. They didn't do things that were bad enough to come here, and you stole them. So you broke your own rules, though.
That is because I have had to change the standard. Things that are small problems don't turn into bigger problems if you catch them while they're smaller problems.
Yeah, he's right. We should have caught him earlier. Jack, he's half-baked. We should really just finish this up now.
I'll look to Cedar. What do you think, Cedar?
I don't like the thought of anyone attempting to tell people that they should be molded into what other people think they should be.
He kind of laughs and gestures in incredulity. What do you believe naughty and nice is, child of Christmas? Do you believe that I am simply trying to get them to do what I want? I believe that the previous Santa was adamant about kindness and love and warmth. All traits that we can appreciate in humanity. We differ in our methods, sure, but I do not believe your, what do you call him, grandfather, would disagree with me on principles. Who you are is all well and good, until it becomes a problem for everyone around you.
Well, how would you feel if I said that who you are is a problem for everyone around you here?
I would argue that that is because I surround myself with the worst of people.
They're children.
Some of them, sure. I don't know if you've met my better half, or arguably worse. I surround myself with the worst people I can find. That is my gift to humanity, as I take them away from where they are already problems. And the children have the ability to grow. They have the ability to change. But not until they've suffered enough to realize they need to. And some people are just too far gone.
No one's too far gone.
Beg to differ. I have a few 1,000 years on you.
Jack will kind of shuffle in his chair when Cedar says, no one's too far gone.
Oh, but this is an uncomfortable silence. Please, feel free to take a drink or a snack. He's himself going to pull one of the teacups towards him and pour from the teapot. What pours out of the teapot stutters through 3 or 4 liquids before finally deciding on the one it's going to pour, filling his cup with hot chocolate. He sets it down, and the pot continues steaming, seeming no less full than it was.
Gumdrop is he's almost just watching Jack at this point. Just head on, waiting for Jack to make a move.
Halley is looking between Jack and Krampus and putting together some of the earlier wording. And then I think she's going to come up with clearly the most important solution at this crucial moment in time of, wait, you didn't even invite Jack to your wedding when you got married to his sister?
We aren't married.
Then why is she your better half or worse half or whatever?
He looks at Jack as if to try and be like, she knows that, like, people can be in relationships and not be married, right? Like, he's looking over, like, kind of like, help me out here, bud.
He'll say, yeah, why didn't you invite me to the wedding?
Because there hasn't been one. Is Halley gonna be like my judgmental neighbor at my old apartment who, like, got really salty when she found out that me and Josh weren't married when we were living together? Is that what's gonna happen? Is that Halley? Halley's that guy?
Oh my god.
No, I think she doesn't believe that they're not married because I feel like the context in which she's heard better half has only ever meant one thing. And so she's believing there has been a secret wedding that he is not speaking about now, which is a whole other subtext thing she's trying to solve within the plot.
I need you to never play any character other than Halley for Song of Sugar and Snow forever.
I'm on it.
Thank you.
Well, I surround myself with the best people. I'll gesture to him. And we've heard what you had to say. I think it's time for you to get the stick. And I'll just, boom, shoot an ice knife straight towards him.
The air around you crackles with a heat and with a lightning that stops the knife immediately in front of his face. He looks towards it almost bored, takes another sip of his drink, and then sets it back down on the desk. He stands up and sighs. Well, 'tis to be this then.
How does he react to the nunchuck coming out of the back of his head?
He is going to shimmer away in a poof of black coal dust that will begin to swirl onto the ground around all of you, circling larger and larger and larger and getting denser and denser and darker until all you can see is this circled orb of black dust that dissipates immediately like a snap. And you all find yourselves standing in a frozen wasteland. Nothing is around you, except in the far distance you seem to be encircled entirely by a dead forest. Standing at the center is Krampus. He looks defeated is not the correct word, but resigned to what's happening. He turns to all of you and goes, "Let it be what it must be then." And his body begins to ripple and shudder and grow. Horns growing larger and wider and sharper. His head twisting into this larger, more monstrous form with canine teeth and sharp eyes. His arms are going to bulge out, and you're going to hear these cracks and pops as his arms grow larger. His back stays hunched and humped, but grows out, so his body is now long and sharp and unnatural. His tongue lolls out between his canine teeth, and he looks at all of you. And I need you all to roll for initiative.